Welcome back. We are working on potato soup. These are the ingredients you're going to need to make the soup. We've got potatoes, a heavy whipping cream, evaporated milk, chicken broth. You're going to need carrots, green onions. We've got some garnish things. We've got some bacon. I like extra sharp to garnish with. There's two different kinds. Bacon grease, salt, onion powder, and garlic. And we've also got some chives to go on top. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need 10 to 12 medium to large potatoes. You're going to take them, we're going to wash them really good, then we're going to cut them into chunks. I've washed my potatoes. I'm going to start peeling them, and then we're going to chop them. Alright, my potatoes have been peeled, they've been washed, and now we're ready to cut them into chunks. Alright, I'm going to cut mine in half. I like to make bigger chunks because by the time they boil, if you cut them too small, they're going to be all disintegrated into the bottom. Okay, we're going to put these in the pot, and then we're going to put them on the stove and put some water in them. Okay, I've got my potatoes all cut up. Now I'm going to cut my onions. I'm going to set this aside. Now you could use Yukon Gold potatoes. You could mix them up with regular potatoes, but I'm just usually using regular Idaho potatoes. Alright, now I'm using 2 small onions because that's what I have, but you could use 1 large onion. So I'm going to cut these. I'm going to pop them in there on top of the potatoes. So I make my onions a little bit chunky too. We're going to add a couple green onions here in a second. Alright, now these are ready to go in on top of the potatoes. Alright, I've got my green onions. I'm going to chop those up. Okay, and those are going to go in there as well. I've got my potatoes, my onions, and my green onions, and I'm going to place those in my pot. Now I'm going to take and fill it up with some water. I've got me 2 carrots that I've scraped, and I'm going to shred them in this bowl. And I'm going to add those to the top of my soup. Okay, I've got my potatoes and everything in my pot. Now I'm going to make sure that I have my water up at least to 2 to 3 inches above the potatoes. We've got our soup on the stove. We're going to put it on about medium high. And I'm going to add in my carrots. We're going to let this cook until our potatoes are almost done. To see if our potatoes and our onions are done. So we're just going to take us a fork and we're going to find a pretty big potato. Alright, I think mine needs just about 2 or 3 more minutes. And we also check our onions because we want to make sure they're done. So they're pretty much done. I've got a couple potatoes that are still working. Don't want to stir this too much because if you do, it's all going to dissolve down on the bottom. Alright, we'll come back and check it in about 2 or 3 more minutes. I've still got it on medium high. And we'll be back to check it. I checked and my potatoes are done and so are my onions. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my 1 can of chicken broth. Right, I'm going to add my bacon grease. I have about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease in here that I saved from my garnishing bacon. Okay, now in my spices I have 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half a teaspoon of pepper in here. Now, if you like your saltier, just check it right before you get ready to eat it and add more salt. You can always add more. Okay, I'm going to stir that up just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to slowly add in my cream. I'm going to use a whole can of cream, and I have a half a can of heavy whipping cream I'm going to put in here as well. Okay, give that just a little stir. Make sure you're stirring it gently so we don't break down our awesome potato chunks. Okay. Now I have about a half a cup of heavy whipping cream I'm putting in here. Stir that up just a little bit. Now since it's cooled down a little bit, I'm going to take and I'm going to dip out some of my liquid. I'm going to cool it down with a little bit of water or a little bit of milk. And I'm going to add my flour to that. I've got myself out a little bit of the potato liquid. I've got it over here in my bowl. I put a little bit of water in it to cool it down because I'm going to stir in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of flour. Now if I was to dump that straight into my soup, I would have all kinds of little dumplings running around. So I'm going to stir this up real good till all the lumps are out. Then I'm going to slowly add it back to my potato soup. I've got my flour all incorporated into the liquid. I'm going to slowly add this back into my soup, and I'm going to give it some gentle stirs. I'm going to bring it the heat just a little bit because we want it to thicken a little bit. It looks like our potato soup is just about done. This soup, as it sits, it thickens up a whole lot more. Now if you like yours thicker, you can take and you can add some instant potato flakes. That'll help thicken it up. Or if you don't have any of those, you don't want to use them, you can actually dip out some of the soup, like maybe a cup or 2, and put it in the blender, blend it up, and pour it back in here, and that'll make it a lot thicker. But now this soup really thickens up after it sits, especially once you put it in the refrigerator overnight. It's a lot thicker, and it's actually even better the next day. Alright, now we're going to take it over there and we're going to serve it up. We're going to garnish it with our cheese and our bacon bits and our chives. Here is our finished potato soup. I've added some sharp cheddar, some fried bacon bits. I've also got some chives on top. And we're going to finish that off with a nice piece of cornbread to go with it. This is going to be awesome. You will love this. You can also use another great cheese. It's extremely sharp. It's usually white cheese, but it is really good in this. It makes it taste awesome. Now you will find that one bowl is not enough. If you enjoyed this recipe, leave me a comment below. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Now when you hit the bell notification, it lets you know whenever I have a new great recipe available. So check out the other recipes on my channel for more delicious comfort foods. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.